Hello there, I'm Caden Matpour, and this is my review of the 7th episode of Peacemaker Season 2. And as much as I would like to have some variety and say I didn't just love every episode, but wow, was this an episode. The name of this episode was called Like a Keith in the Night, which I know I might be stretching a bit here, but I couldn't help but be reminded of this famous line.
Like a turd in the wind.
Now, I will just get this out of the way. Vigilante is amazing in every episode. I am so glad James Gunn had this character in the show.
You must live in like a utopia.
That line was such a subtle way to address real-world problems without doing it in a way Disney does in a way some people refer to as quote-unquote woke. And oh boy, that Happy Gilmore chase scene with the scariness multiplied by 100 was also a lot to watch. But it made it very easy for me not to care at all when Judo Master electrocuted the citizens in a pool.
Let's kill the cops. Oh, such a good idea. Let's kill the cops.
I'm cool with killing the cops.
And even when I was writing this review script, I realized, yes, this show is really dark just describing it. Though one big note I had in this episode is that I have noticed that James Gunn has used the technique mastered in Deadpool, where the camera would shake a little bit to make the moments feel more real, which Gunn used in the show pretty well, but in scenes like Economos and eagerly recreating that scene from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where the non-talking friend doesn't know what to get, the shaking camera was a bit much. Speaking of Deadpool, you know who else has iconic white superhero eyes? Batman. Which brings me to my next segment, Batman, where are you at? This is the segment where I ask, now that Creature Commandos has confirmed that Batman is canon to the DCU, I have to ask, where he at? This episode did mostly take place in Earth X, so I understand why the DCU Batman was not fully involved in the end, but I decided to do some research and discovered, is there a Batman in Earth X? Well, I discovered in the show Batman Brave and the Bold, which is also the name of the Batman movie James Gunn is working on, the Season 2's 9th episode is called The Super Batman of Planet X, where Batman meets the Batman of Zur-On-Ah, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, who strangely enough is voiced by the legendary Batman voice actor Kevin Conroy.
At least I go out like this, being Batman.
Though, that episode takes place in space, hence being it called Planet X and not Earth X. Most likely because it was a kids show that didn't want to explain the consequences of a world that was ruled by Nazis. Though, this might be a long shot, what if in the Earth X universe, Bruce Wayne's parents were trying to escape the Nazis by going into space, a reverse Superman origin story if you will, and they died in the trip, where Batman became the Batman in a new planet, Planet X, and that is why the top trio in the Sons of Liberty are the last defenders in the world, unless Batman has like a bat rocket or something. Does he have that?
What's that?
And over there, it's the Bat Space Shuttle.
Please keep your hands off that.
Oh, wow, he does. And that was Batman, where are you at? Now, I like the return of the mustache man himself, Sidney, even if the show has been feeling more and more like a commercial for Superman, but seeing a character from Superman talk to a character from Creature Commandos in a spin-off show of The Suicide Squad really emphasized how cool the interconnectivity of this universe is. I also really loved how well they showed that everyone is not the same in every universe. Like, the dad was so very different in this universe. I also like that they tipped us off by saying that the DCU world must be a twisted version of theirs, because, of course, Peacemaker's dad would think that our world is horrible, but the alternate dad only talked to our DCU version of himself's opinion, which makes the reveal that he is actually nice even more amazing. Until Vigilante just stabs him to death over and over, which was my favorite part of the episode. Though, why couldn't they just take Economos out of the chair earlier? That really confused me. Now, on to the ending, where they are beating Keith around until Peacemaker stops them, very similar to the ending of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Wow, I never thought in a million years would I feel as much emotion as I did during John Cena's monologue. These are people from the better world with more accepting people than Earth X, yet they act like animals to this dude who just lost his family. I know superhero projects don't get many awards, but if John Cena doesn't get some sort of award or at least recognition for this episode, well, I'm just a YouTuber, so I don't know what I would do, but I will be disappointed. Not to diminish any other wrestler turned actors, but this really showed the difference between The Rock being famous for being a wrestler actor and Dave Bautista, who is a wrestler turned actor who is famous for being a good actor.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
Which Cena is officially more like Batista. And by the way, screw you, Judo Master. Just when I was sort of starting to like you and not be annoyed by your over-the-topness, you just switched sides, so screw you, good sir. And also, by the way, great cliffhanger for the finale. But how come every DCU project has had the protagonist go to jail at some point? The Suicide Squad and Creature Commandos, all of them are in jail in the beginning, Superman turns himself in, and now Peacemaker turned himself in as well? Is Green Lantern going to turn himself in to persuade the government to defeat Sinestro? Whatever. Still an amazing cliffhanger. Now on to my theories. I do not want to make this a fanfiction channel. And I already kind of did with my Batman Where You At segment with a space Batman theory, so I can't say much without sounding too ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is create a super theory, combining all my past theories into one before the finale. Except the Nolan-verse theory, that one was so terribly wrong.
It's a little wrong to say a tomato is a vegetable. It's very wrong to say it's a suspension bridge.
Combining all my theories, now that Rick Flag has the device to travel between worlds, and Captain Trions will be trying to get revenge, Flag knows he has to stop him. He will have Luthor create suits and devices for Flurry and his men to wear before going to destroy Earth X. But Flag knows someone who would have a lot more fun in Earth X, G.I. Robot. But he also tries to discuss it with the Bride and Dr. Prometheus to join as his men go in, but of course they no longer trust him after the whole princess debacle, so he just has G.I. Robot and his men go. Of course, G.I. Robot will have the time of his life, but there are just too many Nazis, which is where Peacemaker will come in and save the day. Of course they win, maybe someone has to sacrifice their life, and they close the portal forever, but someone still gets out. Not Darkseid, but a man with smarts like no other, Brainiac. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor is able to build his own green suit and escape. This way, all they need to establish in Man of Tomorrow is that Brainiac has come from some distant universe to conquer, and Lex has escaped without making the children who haven't seen Peacemaker confused.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Or, most likely, none of that will even be close to accurate. Either way, what did y'all think of the final episode before the finale of Peacemaker Season 2? Please like and subscribe, maybe even leave a comment. We are a smaller channel that truly loves any support we get, and this is Kate and Matt and Poor saying...
You! You stay classy.